Hello, Ilan.
Hi.
Thank you for
Eva.
joining me today and participating in our community forum on public art. As I shared with you, this forum provides a space for the community to engage in dialogue about Dublin's large-scale public art commissioning process. So we wanted you to be a part of this dialogue because the artist's creative process and proposal, they're very important tenets of the process. So I'd love to ask a few questions about your artwork, The Boat in the Field, which has been selected for ML Red Trabue Nature Reserve. So to get started, can you just tell me a bit about your concept for The Boat in the Field?
Sure. So the boat in the field consists of two intertwined images. One image is of a stone skeletal structure of a boat raised 11 to 15 feet up in the air, and it is frozen in mid-flight. The other image is of a tower made of vertical steel beams covered with a sloping elliptical roof. The mast of the boat, a long fin-shaped made of corten steel, rises from the boat, piercing through the roof, through the tower of the roof tower, and rising another 8 feet. The massive petrified stone boat looks as if it's floating weightlessly in midair, seemingly to defy gravity and the law of physics. Below, the steel beams, some straight, some bent, appears as if in motion, possibly having walked out of the pond. These symbolic intertwined images produce several questions and conceptual consideration. Which of the two images arrive first, the boat or the tower? Were these images at one time separate entities, or is each just part of a singular greater organism? The roof tower usually represents the human aspiration of stability, shelters, and rootedness. The boat suggests the opposite: desire, transience, a journey to the unknown which lies beyond the horizon. In juxtaposition, these images represent stasis and kinesis to create an artwork depicting two forces vital to the human condition.
It's beautiful. Thank you. So we did bring you out for a site visit last fall, and we spent, most of the day wandering the nature reserve. I'm hoping you could just bring us back to your experience that day, maybe talk about your inspiration for the artwork.
Yeah. So an artist, I think in general, is a library of images that we have in mind. They come from our own persona, life experience, past work, uh, and beliefs and interests. Uh, the informative visit to which we traveled with the committee from an area to area, from the arboretum to the early log cabin, from the open spaces where you see the bordering city on the edge of the park, to the isolated pond, created this dialogue of oppositions that inspire the piece with an inner dialogue of opposition itself. So it's your personal images coming to an examination with a space, with a complexity that create that dialogue between an artist and a place for park, which in this case is a kind of a linear park that moves from side to side with very big difference between the side. And then that really kind of leads to your own um, uh, interest, to be examine your interest in this kind of issues. Um, I was thinking of the park, its beauty. Also, our question. There was the question that where the future is going to make us face, and so they all come together in this short traveling through a beautiful landscape that I normally don't see.
It is a beautiful landscape. It's also pretty massive. It's a 90-acre park. So could you tell us what drew you specifically to that location within the nature reserve for the artwork?
You know, after all the sights, the beauty of the arboretum and the log cabin, and I was strongly, I felt strongly about working with the pond. But I didn't want the piece to be too constant in the pond. You come to the pond, you either fish or you sit by the pond, and it have all this structure that you can sit on. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to just be constant present in a beautiful place. Um, so I looked for something that will be on the way to the pond or away from the pond, something that is on the way and appear for a brief moment like a mirage or like an announcement, and then disappear again. So when you are in the pond or you are in the cabin or you are in the arboretum, you don't see the artwork, but on your way you come across something, whether you are in with those electronic or electric vehicles or you walk, you see it for a brief moment, it creates a destination for you for a brief moment and you can go on. And that was the sort of, the idea behind the choice.
Nice. So you've pretty much answered this question, but I want to leave with this final just inquiry about how this piece, how you envision it responding to the site.
So the piece is next to a paved trail, but is not seen until you almost arrived at it. Because the trail turns and twists in a wooded area, and then it comes to an opening, which is the field. And it's beautiful. It has both forest and openness, but it's not a destination. And so I wanted to create a momentary destination there, with have a consistency with what the sculpture is talking about. And it's a boat, and we are going to the pond or coming from the pond, and it's not in the pond, it's in a field. So I walked away from the pond. So the sculpture is what I said before. It's an announcement, it's a mirage, but it asks a question. Did it as big as this once upon a time, or is it shrunk into what it is now, and the boat stayed up there hanging in midair? There is all kind of things that the boat question. Does the boat remind us of the Noah Ark story of calamity and hope in the Bible? Or is it about some kind of unusual appearance that comes and goes on our way to destination?
Nice. Yeah, these are great questions, and I can imagine people coming up with many more to add to that conversation. Yeah. Well, thank you for speaking with me today, and it's been a pleasure. And I enjoy seeing the rendering behind you on your wall. It's a lovely image. I look forward to more conversations with you in the months to come, and we're really excited to invite you back to Dublin very soon.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
Thanks.